Hi, quick update. So I had my consultation with University of Pennsylvania, and at the start of it, I was a bit disappointed. I went to University of Pennsylvania with my whole like accordion file of my reports, my CDs, and everything else. And when I had met with the one doctor's assistant, I guess, the nurse in the beginning, um, the way that she was talking just seemed a bit, I don't know, rushed, dismissive somewhat, because I was kind of saying, like, I was hoping to meet with him to kind of talk about a variety of things that I had going on to kind of see, like, what else could be happening, any other differential diagnoses or testing that I could do to um, see if there was something else that isn't just go ahead and hop into a surgery again. And she was a bit dismissive and said, well, you're here to see a surgeon, so you're going to talk about surgery, and just kind of like reiterated that. And I said, well, I understand. I just figured with being at University of Pennsylvania that I would, I don't know, be working with somebody who wants to get to the bottom of like what is happening. And she's like, well, he's not a diagnostician, he's a surgeon. Okay, got it. So that kind of already put me in a bad mood when I was sitting there waiting. But when he came in, he said that he reviewed all of my recent MRIs and kind of looked at all the different reports. And he seems to think that I should not get extra levels fused. His suggestion is that since I used cadaver bone to do the original fusion, again, I had ACDF from C4 to C7, which is 3 levels. And he seems to think that the entire thing just failed. He wants to confirm by getting a CAT scan and seeing what the bone, I guess, has done, because he seems to suspect that none of the screws are really in, so there's no real stability happening in my neck, which he thinks is causing all of the issues. So according to him, he wants to get a CAT scan to confirm if the bone has, I guess, disintegrated or been absorbed, I don't know, something. And he's thinking that if his suspicion is correct, that what we would do is go in through, basically do the exact same surgery all over again, but this time use bone from my hip, which kind of sucks because of my medical stuff, like having to like have like another kind of wound to heal from. And I heard that it can be somewhat painful, but he seems to think that since I sort of did fine with the original surgery until I didn't, he thinks it's because the fusion failed. And he thinks that if we go in through the exact same incision, take out all the screws, all the plates, and use my own bone to restabilize the area, and just redo everything, that I should have a better chance of healing and fusing. And he's like, look, why would we fuse other things without giving this a shot? But first we want to get a CAT scan just to confirm. And he thinks that if his suspicion is correct, that if we go with my own bone and don't fuse extra levels, that I should be able to hold off on future surgeries. He's like, worst case scenario, you eventually do need the adjacent segment diseased discs to be reinforced, or for those to get fused, or to go and do like just a laminectomy through the back. He was like, but why don't we start with this first before fusing other areas, especially given my age? That sounds kind of good, but scary. And now I want to like say to myself, like, if I get this CAT scan and it does show that the original bones didn't take, or the fusion didn't take because of the donor bone, do I then go back to the original surgeon who did it, who's an orthopedic surgeon, and have him redo it, since he seemed to have done a really good job minus the cadaver versus my own bone? I don't know. And then do I then take that CAT scan and go to the surgeon that I had just seen that wanted to fuse more of my discs and only reinforce the top one? So yeah, so I have some thinking to do. I have to get this CAT scan. I have it scheduled, I think, for 2 weeks from today or so. I don't know. I think it's the 10th or something like that, the 11th. I don't know. So I'm going to get the CAT scan done just to confirm and go from there. I guess the question then is redoing the entire thing with my own donor bone, or going to the other surgeon and being like, why didn't he suggest redoing it? And I guess I want to know why. Like, if why did this guy think that redoing the entire thing all over again without fusing extra and using my bone would be the best option versus why the other guy thinks that instead of redoing it or checking the cadaver bone, just reinforcing the top fusion and then fusing the level above. I want to know that. So I have to end this shortly because I need to hop on to my next client, but I figured I would pop on real quick because I wanted some advice. Obviously, you guys are all going to say get another opinion, but I do think that getting this CAT scan is going to be helpful, just to get me some more information, and then I can kind of figure out what to do there. But let's say the CAT scan does show that there has been absorption or whatever of the cadaver bone, and the suggestion of using my own bone and redoing the entire thing all over again. What are your thoughts? I know we're not medical professionals, but what would you do if you were me? Would you do the entire surgery all over again and use your own bone versus fusing other discs? If you've done that, if you've used your own bone, how is that recovery, I guess? Or would you go with the other doctor who just wants to reinforce with more screws or plates the top disc C4 to C5 and then fuse the level above? Thoughts? Questions? Yeah, let me know. I gotta go.